What's up, everybody? This is another Locked On MLB Insider Report with some instant reaction after Game 5 of the World Series here with Locked On MLB Insider Gordon Beckham. I'm Daniella Bruce. Gordon, let's get right into this. It was a game that definitely didn't lack action, and Houston went down 4-0 early in the game with a Braves grand slam in the first inning, and that had to be maybe deflating's not the right word, but it had to do something to their mentality right there at the beginning of the game. The crowd was so into it. What does that say about the mental toughness of Houston to be able to climb right back into this game?
Yeah, I mean, when you see what happened in the first, it was kind of like,
Mhm.
wow. I mean, this series might be over right now. I mean,
Yeah.
and then one thing I was thinking about when it was happening is the one thing it does do for the Houston offense is instead of playing scared, they had to come out and score
Hmm.
runs. So it almost kind of flipped the switch in my mind with them. It's like, okay, we can't just try to skate by and get a couple hits and find a way to win a game. It's like we're going to have to slug our way out of this. And you almost saw the mentality change like immediately because they knew if they didn't go out and start swinging the bats and be aggressive, then they're not going to win this series. It's going to be over. And the World Series is going to the Atlanta Braves. So I kind of sense the
Hmm.
switch on the mindset of the Houston batters. Like we can't just play these nail biter games. We're going to have to go get this one and really have to score some runs, and they did. I mean, it was uh, really good job by them not getting down, just continuing to stick with their plan and continue to just take it to the Braves. I thought their bats were a lot better today than they've been the whole series. I mean, their offense has been kind of quiet all series, and today it looked like they lit a fire. I mean, that grand slam kind of lit a fire under Houston because if they come out and they're like, oh, like they hit a grand slam, it's over. I mean, they're definitely not doing what they did. So I think that just the mentality changed for them. They went from basically sitting on the sidelines, like, how do we scrape a run or two, to, hey, we've got to go score a lot of runs. Let's get aggressive and let's do it. And they did.
And Dusty Baker making some changes to the lineup, which is bold in this scenario, an elimination game. How obviously it worked, right? So, what did you see that actually helped Houston in this scenario?
Well, I mean, they moved Bregman down, and
Yeah.
I hear you when you say it was bold, but at the same time, it's like they hadn't been really swinging the bats well. So, like,
True.
the only option is like, okay, are we going to just continue doing what we're doing? Definition of insanity, everybody knows it, right? So
Hmm.
that's why they switched it up. I think it was a good move, and you had Correa hitting third, and then Gurriel hitting fifth, which is kind of normal for Gurriel, but Correa moved up in the order. He had a good night. And then Bregman moved down to seventh. I mean, it was the lowest he's hit since 2017, I believe.
Hmm.
So I think that what it showed is that Dusty's not afraid to make a decision that's going to help his ball club, and Bregman did well down there. I think
Hmm.
obviously he's going to be grinding on his swing. I mean, he hasn't had as many swings this year as he has in years past. So he's trying to find it right now, and World Series is just tough to find because you're facing great pitching, and but he got through. He got a double today, and started to move in the right direction. Alvarez is the one that's just really struggling in this postseason, and for Houston to win this series, he needs to get hot.
Hmm. Yeah, and I was just going to mention too, the Braves organist playing free fall in there at one point throughout the game didn't work. Probably shouldn't go back to that
Yeah, they shouldn't.
if
They
they get
went.
to that chance.
That's right. It's the first time that Braves have lost a postseason
Right.
game. Here in Truist Park this postseason. So the organist has been known to do stuff like that. So it backfired.
You heard it here. I'm blaming the organist.
That's
All
right.
right. Okay. Carlos Correa, you mentioned he had a good night. Maldonado also showed up in this game, and he had been struggling offensively. Just how big are those individual performances in? I mean, we're in the World Series, right? But in elimination games like that.
Yeah, Correa's doing what he does,
Hmm.
right? He's a really good athlete and he's a great player, and he kind of showed up tonight in a big spot to give his team a lift. But
Hmm.
the bigger impact is Maldonado, because Maldonado is not hitting. He's not known for his hitting. He's anything that he does is considered a bonus. What he does is defense is his calling. That's all he is really on the field for, is to really manage the staff and throw guys out behind the plate. So for him to do something offensively really shows that, that's something they didn't expect. So for
Hmm.
him to have three RBIs, amazing performance in a clutch game. He's beloved by his teammates. I mean, they talk about it a lot. So I think it was a huge lift, and it took some pressure off the guys that are generally supposed to be the guys driving in all the runs. I mean, without Maldonado tonight, it's a one-run game, and you've seen what the Braves have done in close games.
So game 6 will take place on Tuesday in Houston. Tomorrow will be a travel day. Tomorrow, Monday, will be a travel day. So an off day. Who does that benefit, Gordon?
I don't think it necessarily benefits anybody at this point. I mean, I know nobody really wants to take off days at this point. I mean, we're two games away from deciding the champion, the World Series champion, and I don't think either team. I think they'd rather go to Houston tonight and play tomorrow. I mean, that's honestly how I feel. But it's the World Series. You get an off day. I think that it's probably good for the Braves because Houston's offense got kind of hot tonight. Give them a day off. Maybe there's a little bit of rust coming off that day off on Tuesday, but it's definitely not good for Houston because they got rolling, and now all of a sudden they got to sit at home tomorrow and just work out or whatever at the field. So I would say it benefits the Braves because they've shown that they can come back after a loss and have a good a big game. So. We'll see what happens, but I mean, Houston's been really tough at home throughout the regular season and the postseason. So we'll see what happens, but it's anybody's ball game moving forward.
If it was Houston's choice, they'd probably want to fly back and play the game right now in just a few hours. So
That's right. Yeah,
I can understand not wanting that off day, but so pitching matchup. What do you think we're going to see for Game 6?
Well, you're going to get Max Fried for the Braves. I mean, he's been their ace all year. He really didn't pitch well the last time he was out there, but he did give his team 5 innings of good baseball to basically save the bullpen. So he's going to be rested and ready to go. I would expect that he would do better than he did the last time. And then you're probably going to get Luis Garcia. I don't know if you're watching the game afterwards. You watching at home, but Dusty Baker said that they were thinking about going Urquidy, but since he went into the game, they're going to go for Garcia. It looks like on short rest, 3 days rest. Young pitcher, he can probably bounce back better than most, but he is a young pitcher, and it'll be kind of uncharted waters for him. So interesting matchup to see. I mean, the Braves would have the edge in terms of the starting pitching, but this is anybody's game. I mean, and Houston's playing at home, and I'm sure. Minute Maid Park is going to be, really, really loud on come Tuesday.
So, like you said, anybody's game. This series has been very hard to predict, at least for me. I can't seem to get a grasp on it. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But do you have any predictions for these last 2 games? How do you think this series is going to end?
I kind of thought it was going to end tonight. I mean, it just seemed like the Braves had all the momentum in the world, and they hit that grand slam, and it's like, okay, this is their year. And then the Houston does what they do. They hit. They threw well. I mean, the bullpen was lights out when they came in, so pitched a lot tonight. And I still think that the Braves are just a team they're a team of destiny. I don't know. It's just they've been playing really well. They find a way to bounce back. I just get the sense that they're going to win. I don't know if it's going to be Game 6 or Game 7, but I just can't see them losing 3 in a row.
All right, everybody. Well, we will have more on this series coming later this week as the teams travel back to Houston to decide on a champion. And for everything you need to know leading up to that, make sure you follow both teams, Locked On Astros and Locked On Braves. For Locked On MLB Insider Reports, this has been Gordon Beckham and Daniella Bruce. Locked On, your team every day.